Omega-3 fatty acids. Should you take a supplement?
Omega, what happened? We were doing fine with vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F. Why are we all of a sudden going to the Greek alphabet here?
Blame that Dr. Funk guy who named all the vitamins.
It's like a sorority now, or a fraternity, Omega.
Yeah.
I'm a part of the Omega house. I'm Dr. Paul Zalzal.
I'm Dr. Brad.
Welcome to Talking with Docs.
Today we're talking about omega-3 fatty acids. This is a really hot topic.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things in health and nutrition and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be in charge of their own health.
Right, and like those
rightfully
things,
so.
I think so many of them, there's not a really specific, clear answer as a general blanket statement, yes, you should have to do this. So we're gonna talk about what it is, why it matters, where you get it, and does taking more of it help you?
And stick around till the end and we will tell you what conditions there is good evidence that says taking a supplement would help.
Okay.
And what conditions where there is not so good evidence where it says taking a supplement of omega-3 will help. What is it?
Okay.
What is omega-3?
So omega-3 fatty acids are a group of polyunsaturated fatty acids, and there's three main ones that we talk about. So there's alpha-linoleic acid, or ALA, and then there's EPA and DHA. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce them because it's very hard to pronounce.
And fatty acids are basically compounds in our body that we have, and they're made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Just about everything in our body's got some carbon in it because we're carbon-based.
Right.
Like diamonds.
Yes.
Or pencil lead.
Diamond in the rough.
So the free fatty acids, we need them.
Right.
Make no mistake, they are essential. We need them for life.
Right.
The question is, does taking a supplement help?
Right. So let's start at the very beginning. So alpha-linoleic acid, this is the essential one. We cannot make this. This has 18 carbons.
ALA.
ALA. Our body does have the ability to convert some ALA to EPA, which has 20 carbons, and DHA, which have 22 carbons. The conversion rates differ depending on your gender, as well as they go down over your age. You start to lose this ability. So in men, it's about 8% for EPA and 0 to 4% for DHA. For women, it's actually much higher. It's 21% for the EPA and about 9% for the DHA, and they think this is related to estrogen. And it makes sense because when women are pregnant and growing a baby inside of them, they actually physically have to be able to grow a brain inside of them, and brain tissue is one of the structures that has a high concentration of DHA.
As is your cell walls.
Right.
Your body's made up of cells, and the wall
cell
of
membrane.
those cells, cell membrane,
Yeah.
cell wall. Sorry, cell walls are in plants.
Yeah, you corrected me earlier. That's the way I got it.
Cell membrane.
Yes.
In the cell membrane, that compound is found in the cell membrane and is essential. And the cell membrane is vital because it lets things come in and outside of the cell.
Right, so cell membranes, the retina has a very high concentration of DHA, your cerebral cortex and your brain, as well as your skin.
Okay, so it's essential. Now, where do you get it? From your diet. What do we eat that gives us the ALA that's so essential that we can't make?
Okay, so for ALA, this is primarily found in plants. So the number one or best bang for your buck is actually ground flaxseed.
Okay.
And they estimate for the requirements that are recommended, 2.5 tablespoons for a man and 1.5 tablespoons for a woman would give you enough ALA to meet your requirements.
Now, a lot of people don't eat flaxseed. By a lot of people, I mean
people don't.
me.
Okay.
But I'm getting my ALA from other sources, or
Okay,
my
like
fatty
what?
acids from other sources.
Okay, let's keep with the plants for a second and then we'll go down.
There is some in fish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do eat fish.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't eat fish.
Right.
But they're still getting their fatty acids.
Right, so in fish it's not ALA, it's more the EPA and the DHA, so that's the really good stuff.
Right.
Some people don't like the taste of fish,
Right.
and some people have growing concerns about fish.
Because
Primarily because of the way that we have destroyed our oceans. We've unfortunately polluted the waters. So fish, because they eat smaller things and then those smaller things get eaten by bigger things, the bioaccumulation has led to contaminants like lead, mercury, PCBs, dioxins, microplastics.
right.
It can be dangerous.
There is also bad stuff in fish, so
Right.
that's why you can't eat too much fish.
Right.
But that's where we get some of our
100%.
omega-3 fatty acids.
Where did the fish get the omega fatty acids?
So the fish got them from the algae.
Going to the source.
Right, and that's pretty well how life started.
Right.
From vegetation, and so the fish get it from the algae, and we eat the fish. And there is some trace amounts in other animal products too.
Yes. Yep. In meat, it's just much lower. Yep.
It's much lower, but there is some. So from your diet, you are getting ALA. Okay.
Yes. Or DHA and EPA if you're
DHA.
having fish or algae.
Even if you're not eating the classic things that we mentioned, which are the fish, the flaxseed, the walnuts.
Yes. Chia seeds, hemp seeds, even
seeds.
green leafy vegetables actually have source of ALA.
Birds must just be exploding with this stuff.
That's right. So now you know where you can get it. Is deficiency, is this a real thing? Because we talk about this all the time. Like you could say, oh, we're going to measure all these things and, oh, you're low. Does that even matter? A, does it happen? B, does it matter?
It's a real thing,
Okay.
but it's super duper rare.
It's very, very rare.
Okay, so it's not commonly seen in North America anyways.
Do you know how they found out, like the term essential fatty acids? How they found out, oh, you know what, we actually do need fats?
No.
It's an interesting story. So it was founded with total parenteral nutrition. So sick patients in the hospital that couldn't eat, they concocted essentially bags of nutrients. And originally they were not putting fat in them. And they found that these people got sick. So they said, wow, we have these essential fatty acids that we have to add to this bag in order to sustain them.
Do you think we'll have to change the name from fat since it's kind of a derogatory
I don't
word?
think so.
Okay.
I think it has to stay.
Okay,
Has to stay.
fine. Okay, so that's the deal.
So it's very rare, but possible.
Okay, let's look at the evidence now to say when is it recommended to take a supplement, in what conditions, or to prevent what conditions, and when is it purported to make a benefit, but really when you look at the evidence, it doesn't.
Okay, so we did two different strategies. You looked specifically at the articles.
Dug up some articles.
I went to the Cochrane database, which looks at all the articles and writes summary, but they don't do them all the time. So a summary might have been 5 years old or 7 years old, so some of the newer data might not have been caught. So what I found with Cochrane is that they found good evidence for a handful of things. So for the treatment of dry eyes, which is a very real problem as we age.
Drops or the supplements?
No, supplements.
Okay.
Increasing your total omega-3 intake, improved symptoms of dry eyes.
Don't jam the pill in your eye.
Do not put it in your eye, do not put the drops in your eye. Reducing your triglycerides, which can have variable significance.
Yeah.
Reducing cardiovascular events and mortality in people that had pre-existing disease, not necessarily in healthy people.
Right.
And then also assisting pregnant mothers in lactation and reducing preterm birth, as well as maintaining a healthy birth weight.
Good. Those are similar to what I found going through the literature. In addition, I found an article that suggested that taking a supplement can help slow the decline of your respiratory system, of your lungs, improving the airways.
Yes.
If you're experiencing a decline in your respiratory system.
Yep.
From a dermatologic point of view, for skin, there was some articles that suggested it may offer some UV protection, systemic UV protection. There was an article that showed there was some purported benefits of reducing frailty in elderly people.
Okay.
Not so in the article that I read.
Yes.
Dementia, preventing dementia, not so in the article I read. Preventing cardiovascular events in normal healthy people without having had a previous cardiac event, not going to help. And one cool article I came across where they looked at markers of inflammation in people who are infected with COVID.
Okay.
All right, and so markers of inflammation include CRP.
Yes.
And they found that the CRP levels were decreased in those people with COVID who were taking.
So a blood test that measured their amount of inflammation related to a specific disease was lower in people that had good levels of omega-3s.
Yeah, CRP is one of those measurements that we do to measure generally inflammation in your body. So that article showed that the CRP was actually lowered. However, the clinical implications of that were not investigated in the article. They didn't say if people got better faster, if they didn't get as sick from COVID.
But that may explain why you have less deterioration of lung function with age. Maybe that's why you have less cardiovascular events.
Right.
Maybe that's why all those things happen. We don't know. It's not necessarily cause and effect with observational type study as opposed to randomized controlled trials.
Right.
The other thing that I noted with the brain stuff, this is certainly growing, is that some people feel strongly that it's going to reduce your cognitive decline. So it does not reduce progression of dementia or necessarily prevent the incidence of dementia or Alzheimer's or even Parkinson's related diseases, but it may reduce your reduction in cognitive function. The other thing I did see that there was a maybe in the Cochrane database was for reducing depressive symptoms in bipolar patients, as well as beyond that.
Yes. Okay, so a lot of maybes.
A lot of maybes,
a lot
some
of
for
no's.
sure's, and a lot of no's.
There you go.
Okay, so this brings us to the point, well, so should you take it?
All right, are you taking it? Are you going to take it?
So I am taking it.
Really?
Yeah, like over the last kind of couple of weeks as I started to research this.
Yeah.
So I take a small amount, 250 milligrams.
Okay.
Because I saw one paper that talked about how if you measure the levels of your omega-3s, the omega-3 index that is the sign of the cognitive decline side is something called 4.4. And this specific study showed that if you had people that were deficient, you give them 250 milligrams, they could get above that in a reasonable fashion.
Yeah, and if you can do that math, you don't have cognitive decline in
That's
the first
right.
place.
Yeah.
I mean,
So because I'm a plant-based eater and I don't eat fish, that's probably my main reason for taking the supplement, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
I am going to consider taking it because of my triglyceride and cholesterol profile.
Sure, reduce your inflammation.
Maybe.
Yes. So they are quite expensive. They are coming down in cost. So this is one issue for people. But I think it's worth talking to your doctor about. There's very few downsides. There was one study that showed that there was an increased risk of very aggressive types of prostate cancer. It's not been reproduced. So this is something that if you are at high risk of prostate cancer, this is maybe something you should discuss with your doctor. But this seemed to be more of an outlier than anything, and not specifically causative.
Okay. And other than that, there's the safety profile is pretty good.
Pretty good.
However, in my opinion, always, if you can get these compounds that we need for life from your diet instead of taking a supplement, you're way better off.
Right.
So I think for me, rather than jumping into the supplement thing right away, I'm going to try and modify my diet to include more of the bird seeds that you mentioned.
There you go. So now you know. I think that's a good summary. I think it's a confusing topic. Even us trying to wade through all the stuff on the internet and all the people doing videos on it and all the articles, like scientific articles. There are very few well-designed, long-term, really controlling, randomized controlled trials that can only identify the role of omega-3s. And that's the trouble is that, so say someone's taking omega-3s, but they exercise more and then they're reducing their fat intake and maybe they're avoiding other things. It's hard to control for all those variables. So nutritional research is difficult. It's still useful, but it's difficult to do well.
We are not nutritionists.
Nope.
By any stretch.
I'm actually debating going back to school, maybe taking some night classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that.
I know you think I'm joking, but I'm not.
No, you're not. Yeah, you should. I'll sign you up.
Okay.
So we're not, okay? But the thing is, we are able to read.
Yes.
So we read through these articles and we try and sift through it stuff. Because I have seen some comments where like, these guys are lying through their teeth. They are not nutritionists. We're not nutritionists, but we can read and we can synthesize information and try and present it to you guys who might not have the time to go through all the articles and read.
I think the last thing that I would say too is that it's a big business. So fish oil supplement industry is like $1 billion industry, plus the algae people, plus other supplements. It's really complicated.
Is this where cod liver oil came from?
Yes.
And all?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? It's supposed to taste terrible.
Yeah, so that's why they put it now in capsules that prevent you from tasting it. But there's a lot of industry involved in a lot of the studies because studies are expensive to do. We've talked about this before. So you always have to take those with a grain of salt too. If someone's funding it, they have an inherent bias to try to find a positive result. So proceed with caution, give it some consideration, talk to your doctor if you want to take it. Now you know all about omega-3s and what they are. And if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to our channel, check out our long form content.
And remember, you are in charge of your own health.
We'll see you next
Do
time.
you need a lift to school, to a nutritional school? I can drop you off there. I'll pack you a lunch.
I'm gonna ride a bike.
Pack you a lunch. Don't get it stolen again this week. Those bullies.
Let's see you next time.